both DePape's public defender and San Francisco's district attorney addressing the media. Take a listen.
One thing that we wanted to emphasize is that this was a targeted attack. This was not a random residential burglary. He specifically sought out their home. He sought out the speaker, and in turn, when he could not locate her at her home, turned his violence towards her husband.
We're going to be doing a comprehensive investigation of what happened. We're going to be looking into Mr. DePape, his mental state, and I'm not going to talk any further of that until I have more information in order to speak accurately.
Well, correspondent Rich McHugh is live for us in San Francisco. So, Rich, give us a sense of what unfolded today inside that courtroom.
Hi, Nicole. The suspect, David DePape, just entered the courtroom a short time ago and faced a judge for the first time. He was in a orange jail-issued jumpsuit, his right arm in a sling. Apparently, it was dislocated either during the attack or during the arrest. He's represented by a public defender, and a judge ordered that he will not be released on bail. There's no bail set. He entered a plea, not guilty. Now that the Justice Department and the local district attorney have filed charges against the suspect, David DePape, a clearer picture of the man and his motives has emerged.
What is clear based on the evidence that we have thus far is that this house and the speaker herself were specifically targets of the defendant.
In an interview with police after the attack, he told police he viewed Nancy as the, quote, leader of the pack of lies told by the Democratic Party, that he wanted to kneecap Speaker Pelosi, and explained that by breaking Nancy's kneecaps, she would then have to be wheeled into Congress, which would show other members of Congress there were consequences to actions. According to the affidavit, DePape likened himself to the Founding Fathers when explaining why he did not leave after Pelosi called 911, because much like the American Founding Fathers with the British, he was fighting against tyranny without the option of surrender. DePape is a Canadian citizen here on an expired visa. For the past 2 years, he had been living in a garage just north of Berkeley, California. Inside, investigators found additional hammers, rubber gloves, IRS letters, PayPal credit cards, and a sword. While he was known as a left-leaning nudist activist in the Berkeley area, his writings on blogs in recent years spread QAnon conspiracy theories. His daughter, Inti Gonzalez, says he grew up in an abusive home and has, quote, been very consumed by darkness, offering yet more clues about his history and what may have motivated his attack. She wrote online, "This attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband came as a shock to me, though not much considering the kind of extreme abuse he had inflicted on me and my brothers. I didn't see this coming, and there was no sign of the possibility from his end." Despite that, she says she still loves him, but hasn't seen her father since she was about 13. Quote, "He did genuinely try to be a good person, but the monster in him was always too strong for him to be safe to be around." Now, DePape's public defender was just asked about his daughter's writing. He said, "Look, I haven't even read them. It's too early to tell." The judge in the case set this coming Friday as the date where they will actually determine when the preliminary hearing will be. Nicole?
All right, Rich McHugh live for us in San Francisco. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.